Hi everyone, Alex is here and today we'll be talking the new features of CSS in 2025. Container queries. This one is very interesting and it works when your parent width is less than 400, it will make different pixels. So how does it work? You just take the container element, parent one, and then it's just checking if its size is less than, for example, 400, it will make font size. That's how container queries work. Pass parent. This one also is interesting, and this one helps us to make something that all of us have been doing with JavaScript. So, when your parent element has a child one, that can be changed. For example, input that was valid and it became invalid. And you wanted to make, for example, a red border that this specific element, like this specific form, is invalid because of some input that is child one. Finally, you can just write has and then write inherited, nested, invalid element. Or you can just use, for example, form has button active. For example, active will be a class. And when the button is active, for example, button can have some elements, disabled attributes, or some classes that will be only if it will be active one, the form can be changed. And it can help us not write less JavaScript and write more CSS that is better for your web browsers. CSS nesting. This is what we have in nearly all of preprocessors. Less, SCSS, and all of the others. Finally, we can just write element inside of your container and it will help us to tell that container that has item and item that can be hovered. And it doesn't need to write all of such things like it was before, container space dot item or dot container space dot item and hover. Finally, you can just write it with nesting, and I hope that this one will really change the way how you're working with your CSS. Subgrid. What's that? When you wanted to use your parent's grid system, you want to adjust that a little bit, but in general you want to use that one, subgrid. This is the thing that will change your entire vision. Masonry Layout. What's that? Finally, if you wanted to make Pinterest look, it doesn't need to make any hard JavaScript and hard logic how these things should be up when your another element is down and how such things should work. Finally, you just write this code snippet. That's all. Table rows Masonry will make your Pinterest look. The problem is that it's not supported for all of the web browsers. We just should wait a little bit until it will be supported, and this one will change entire life of your websites. Property? What's that? That's the thing that you definitely use. So right now we know that there are variables in CSS. It's not a new thing for us, but the property, that's the thing. Firstly, we have syntax. It tells us what is the type of your property. It can be number, it can be string, it can be boolean, it can be any other things, but right now it is number in our example. If it is inherited or not, so we can just tell that it can be inherited by our parent object. That's not a big deal. And also, if there are nothing with this progress, for example, no one declared that, what is initial value of that? This is just game changer. All of us have been using var with JavaScript, and that just changes our life of how you can work with your CSS. But this one is just entire new galaxy. I hope that you will use it. View transitions. Finally, with this code snippet, you can make transition from your old version of DOM to a new one. So how it will work? When your DOM reloads itself, it will just make opacity less and then appears that, and it will make a great funny transition of how does it like blinking when it should be. So for example, when all of your DOM is changing, like entire one, and you see this blink that is really uncomfortable, and you think how you can make it more transitionable, this is the way how you can make it. Or you're just changing the specific one, for example, not the whole DOM, not the whole body, but the specific div, and you wanted to make this transition like pop in, for example. This is the way. That's finally what we're looking for. And if you will use all of these changes, it will dramatically change your optimization of a website. Believe me. Content visibility. Finally, you can tell what you want it to be visible when your DOM is loading. For example, some images cannot be loaded. You can just tell that something will be loaded here, which size you wanted to have that, how you wanted to show that. Content visibility. This is the new property that will help you just to use your things just to understand what you wanted to show and in which way. Check out this property. Scrollbar gutter and color. That's how you will use that. So you just can write the colors that we'll use for your scrollbar, how you want it to look that. Do you want it to have it edges? Do you want it to be square, stable, or any other way? And the scrollbar gutter in color will change the look of that. You have pseudo elements like scrollbar, but this one works a little bit different, and also this is property that you can more easily to change, and this one has a little bit more supported right now than it was a little bit before that, but you should still wait a little bit until it will be mostly supported with most of the browsers that are nowadays used. So this one will change the look how all of our websites have the scrollbar, because they have the default one and it's not good every time, and right now we have more flexibility to change our scrollbar, and I think that more designers and websites will use that. Target text. This one is interesting. For example, when you have your link with hashtag on the end of this link and you're going to the web page, it will instantly show you the part of the web page where this link is linked. But this target text couldn't be found firstly. So for example, if it's a title that you wanted to show all of your users, the problem here that when it's highlighted, for example, like you are going to the link, this hashtag, and you wanted to show this specific title, it can be sometimes hard to show that because you should use JavaScript to just take this hex, just to discover with the IDs that you have and then highlight it. But right now you just can write this pseudo element that will highlight all of the text that have this linked and ensure you to specific part of your web page that will be really more understandable which specific hashtag moved you to this specific part of the web page. That's how it will work. Anchor positioning, and this one I think the most that I like. So an idea here is that when, for example, you have tooltip and you always use JavaScript just to tell how far should be from your native element and how it should be, even for example, when it is going out of your window. That's incredibly bad, and that's the problem that we all have. But right now, finally, we have just anchor name, anchor default, tip. Amazing. We have anchor right 0 pixels, anchor bottom 8 pixels. That's how it will work. And this anchor type is right now more supported than it was before, but it's still with newer versions of Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. For example, you can check here Firefox, Opera, Safari for or on iOS, and it's not supported for those, but it's supported for Chrome or Edge, and just check it out, please. I think that this one will change the entire tooltip systems and libraries that have been before that, and during like the next 2 years we'll just using CSS1. This day has come. Functions in CSS. Finally, we have functions. So Mixins also, you can just write, for example, your typical function RGB, or for example RGB when you have specific, for example, colors and you want just to change 2 values of that, and it will be automatically calculated, or it will be automatically passed to the specific thing of what we have. But in general, the functions, that's what we have been looking for. CSS functions are here, and you can use them just to write, for example, as here, the color format, the alpha one, the alpha that is default one. That's how it will work. It's here. Thanks everyone for watching that. Hope that you liked it. Please hit the like, down the comment, and I hope to see you in next videos. Bye.